Following Arizona State's 31-28 win in their final homestand game here in Sun Devil Stadium, Herm Edwards approached the media, talked about a little bit of Oregon. I'm Scotty Gange alongside Brady Vernon, editor of HouseofSparky.com. And Brady, right off the bat, what was the biggest thing you took away from today's press conference?
Just that he's not really focused on anything beyond Oregon. He's talked about it a lot, like, yes, they still control their own destiny in the Pac-12 South, but it's Oregon week, it's Oregon game, there's injuries, and he talked a little about how now it's a night game, that there's more preparation in that. There's going to be late night travel. He saw Manny Wilkins and Nikhil Harry right before he came into and said, like, hey, there's going to be waiting around now and just got to prepare for it.
Yeah, touched also on Merlin Robertson and how he won't be playing in the first half due to the targeting penalty that he received last game. And he said that Merlin Robertson will be wearing the baseball cap, be standing next to Herm for the entirety of the first half, will be in right as the second half begins. But let's go more to Oregon's offense. Justin Herbert, he is dangerous. Herm spoke on him a little bit today.
For those that follow the NFL draft, this is a very weak quarterback class, and a lot see as Herbert as the potential, like, #1 guy. But he's also talked about probably going back to school. His brother is going to be an Oregon freshman next year, so we'll see about that. But he is very, very good. And, yes, the record might not reflect that for Oregon, but that Stanford game, really big game where they were up a lot against Stanford and just choked it away. There was a play that got reviewed, changed around for a 14-point swing. They fumbled late when they had no reason to. Kept it close to Washington State, but didn't do anything in the first half. But he does a lot for them. He targets a lot of Dylan Mitchell, who does a lot of slant routes, kind of a speed guy. But they're also hurt. They're missing their starting left tackle, who's a freshman. I can't remember his name. Is like Fail Sowell. And he's been out, and that's kind of changed a lot. The running game hasn't been as Oregon-esque as years past. Even C.J. Verdell, who's been their main starter, even though it's a rotation, is questionable for this game. But Herbert puts a lot on his shoulders. The defense isn't very good, and if given the opportunity with time, they don't get pressure, he's going to find people open. He's a lot built better talent-wise than Wilton Spate, and Spate had a very good game Saturday on this field. And Herbert will put up a lot of points if given the opportunity.
Yeah, Herbert definitely somebody that can take care of the Sun Devils and really any team in the country if given, yes, the right time in the pocket and all that that encompasses with it. But another thing that could slow the Sun Devils down is the weather up in Eugene. It's the first time in the past 3 weeks that they don't have a day game in either Southern California or here in Tempe, and they're going up to Oregon to play a very late night game. How do you think that's gonna affect the Sun Devils?
I mean, Herm Edwards says he doesn't talk about it. That's what he said today. But it's changed, like, here, where T-shirt, perfectly fine. It's warm. There's not a cloud in the sky. And now that it's a night game, it's going to be chillier. It's going to be closer to, like, 40s, 50s, even can get down to the 30s. I mean, there's this rumor that it never rains in Eugene on a Saturday. I don't know if that's really true. But it's also going to be kind of more of an atmosphere as well. Like, maybe, because that stadium does get loud, maybe that takes more into the cold, but it's more of a mental thing. I mean, for myself, I know you growing up in San Diego didn't face any of that. But when you play in a cold weather state such as Colorado, like myself, everyone's cold.
Right.
It goes both ways. And so will it affect the game? Maybe a little, but I think there's going to be more energy and just more focus that there's a lot bigger goal.
Yeah, Edwards said that, he doesn't like to talk about it. He said if he were coaching to come into Arizona, he wouldn't talk about the fact that it's hot. So he's not going to talk about the fact that it's cold in Eugene. And another thing that he talked about was that his daughter cannot wait to go to the cold, not because of the cold, but because of Puddles the Oregon Duck. She said that she absolutely loved it. And I know you're a little afraid of Puddles the Oregon Duck. Is that correct?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, grew up in Colorado, and for some reason was an Oregon State Beaver fan. Yeah. And for whatever reason, that duck, I swear to God, would give me nightmares. And I am terrified to see him in person. I'm afraid he's going to touch me, and it's just going to alter my life. And everyone loves him, and I just the complete opposite. And it's just terrifying, guys. Like, I'm not excited for seeing this duck. Puddles is my worst enemy, I think.
Well, I guess Brady's afraid of the Oregon Duck. So Brady's afraid. Perhaps the Devils might not be afraid of the Oregon Ducks, not Puddles the Duck, but we're going to have to wait and see for that. For one more time, Brady Vernon and Scotty Gange, he'll be bringing his rain jacket, and I guess he'll be staying as far up in the press box as possible. And, hey, we'll see you in Eugene.